All right, my good friends. On this video, we're going to talk about the heat source that I use in the shed of Solitude. I'm Mike Rondo, and if you're new here, I have a shed where I smoke my pipe and cigars, and maybe you're in a similar situation. I know there's a bunch of us in the YTPC that have sheds or garages, and we smoke out there. And I've been doing a series to kind of give people ideas and go from there. There's other videos that I've come across over the years since 2019 when I established the Shed of Solitude for my smoking my pipe and everything, that I got like, bits and pieces there. So I'm trying to centralize a lot of that information in one location, and you guys can have a jumping point and search all over the place on YouTube if you want. The more knowledge, the better, right? So that's what we're going to do here on this channel in this series. So we're going to talk about Mr. Buddy and how that came about. So in 2019, August of that year, I got into pipe smoking. And as I was doing that, we were getting closer to autumn, and I was like, well, I love pipe smoking. I didn't think I'd love it as much as I did. And, well, here I am today. I got my own YouTube channel about it. And I was like, well, I got to come up with a solution for this. So I cleared out the shed and made a corner, which you've seen if you watch my videos. Most of my videos are over in the corner there. It's only recently I've got over on the workbench. I cleared that out to kind of talk about other things and do other things. So I cleared that out, and then as we got closer to October and November of that year, I was like, I could come up with a solution to keep warm. You know, I got to figure that out. So I came across the Mr. Buddy heater. I figured I would check out people that go camping, have RVs, ice fishing, and what their solution is, because it's a similar situation, not quite. And I was like, well, let's see what we got. And I did some research, and I came across Mr. Buddy. And this thing is awesome. This is a pleasure to have. It really makes smoking in the shed pleasurable in the winter months. I just came in today. Let's see. It was at... Let me get it. I took a picture of it, so hold on. A little fuzzy. So I came in here. It was, I don't know if you can see that. It says 47 degrees. And that's not cold. That's actually pretty decent. The problem is when I came out here around 11 o'clock, a little before 11, it's that, I don't want to say bone-chilling cold, but that chill is in the air, right? And so you want to kind of eliminate that. So the little heater I have over here, and I'll do another video on that, is okay for that, but I was like, well, I got to test out the Mr. Buddy because I want to do kind of a review and talk about it and stuff. Not a review, but just my thoughts on it, really. So I cranked this up, and I was able to, within, I want to say 20 minutes, we got up to 59 degrees right here. I don't know if you can see that. And then we went to, we ended at 61, which is a little fuzzy there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this thing does a phenomenal job of getting it up, the temperature up, where it's comfortable for you. And I'm so grateful for this. Now, you'll see I have right here this hose that connects to a large propane tank, a 20-pound propane tank, I believe. And this cable, it's about, I would say 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. And I recommend getting this and getting the large propane tank. It's a much better option. And here comes Rocky the dog. N.W. Piper, meet Rocky. So I recommend you get this hose because it makes it easier to position it and you get more propane, which usually, and of course this one I took it from the grill. I've had this a couple of times because I'm trying to get this, make sure everything works for the winter months. And so the 20-pound propane tank should last you the whole winter. Now, if you go in and smoke in your shed every day, it might not last the whole winter, but I go in every few days in the winter. I'll skip maybe 3 days, and then I'll come in, maybe 3-4 times I come in a week, mostly 3. It's about 3 times I come in and I turn this sucker on, and it gets things nice and toasty. And, of course, as you can see over my shoulder here, there's like a loft here, up here, which traps a lot of heat from this and the other heater that I have here. It's like a cross thing. I got the one heat going this way, and I got the Mr. Buddy going this way, and it kind of sits over there. Sorry, I hit my microphone. Sits in there, and there's a nice bubble of heat, as I've mentioned before, and it's perfect. It's great. I recommend that. But you might not have that situation. So I was working on this contraption up here with the fans, and pay no mind to this. This has turned into a bit of a disaster of late. It kind of works, but it doesn't work. So I can't recommend this or this kind of mod. I wouldn't recommend anyone do this. This is for my own scientific curiosity because I've seen other people do it. There is a hack to where it'll work more efficiently and quicker. I just haven't done that. I was doing it so I wouldn't have to mod anything and cause a problem. I could snip these zip ties, these metal zip ties, and take it off if I wanted to. So it's not a big issue for me just to have it without this, and it builds up enough heat. So now keep in mind, this is a little iffy at times. And by that, I don't mean in a bad way, but this nozzle over here at the bottom, maybe I'll take you in here real quick. Right over, I don't know if you can see that, like right there, that's where the pilot is, right? And if you leave it out like in the spring, in the summer, it's in the shed here, it can kind of get clogged. I think the carbon from when you use it all winter can build up. Maybe spider webs get in there, dirt, grime, whatever it is. So when you first start it up, I recommend, like I started in October because I was trying this out, and I was like, I knew I had to get the pilot to work. And it can be a pain in the butt, so like I'm not going to turn it on now, but like here you get the pilot, you turn it to where it says pilot, and you got to push down on this, and it doesn't catch right away, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, especially when you come out here and your hands are cold. It's not always pleasant, but it does catch once you've circulated the gas through, got everything situated for the winter. If I changed the propane tank, put a new one on, it would work fine. And it can kind of be a pain in the butt. And then, of course, you got to wait like a few seconds. I think it says, let's see, ignite after 30 seconds. You got to wait. Mine's a little quicker than that, but you got to wait, and then you can turn it to low or high or whatever you want. Not ideal. I know they have a newer version of Mr. Buddy. It's more of a camping one. It's square, and I did think about getting that, but I'm still going with this. I'm going to ride with this as long as I can. It still works. It's a little finicky at times, Mr. Buddy here, but or Buddy Heater. I think it's Mr. Heater, Buddy Heater is the official name. Anyway, I will leave links below if you're interested in this. I don't make any money off of anything I mention here. I kind of just buy it and let you know what I think about this. But this is kind of a shed essential, if you ask me, if you're smoking in the winter months. Now, I've come out here when it's 0 degrees, -5 degrees, put this on, put the other heater on. The other heater, I'll get into it in a moment, when it gets below 20 degrees, it takes a while for it to actually kick on. I don't know why that is. It just, either there's moisture, something. I don't know what the problem is, but it takes a while. So, you know, you may have your little electric heater, but if you come out here when it's in the 20s, those little electric heaters, unless it's just mine, it's not going to be as comfortable as you think. You need something like this that's propane that can really crank things up and get things toasty for you and comfortable. Now, this will take you, if it was 20 degrees, it'll probably get 45 to 50 degrees, close to that, or high 40s. It'll take you about 20, 26 degrees above what the actual temperature is when you come in here. Now, that's not ideal, but it's much better than what it is outside, and it makes things much more comfortable and tolerable. Now, I don't recommend coming out here when it's 5, 10 degrees, but sometimes you want your pipe or your cigar, and you'll suck it up and come out here and do it. And this will help you, especially your feet. I don't like my feet being cold, so this really helps. I can handle my hands being cold because I can always put them in front of the little fireplace that I got over here, right there, and they'll warm up eventually. And plus, I have my half gloves on and stuff. So I do recommend this. Now, is this ideal for every shed? Probably not. Now, my friend Redcoat's Renaissance, he's very leery of things like this, and I don't blame him because it's an open flame down here. It's propane. Not everyone's going to want to do that. And some people worry about the carbon monoxide. I've had no issues with that, and this sheds plenty of ventilation. It's not a big deal. And if it was really a big deal, I could just crack open the window or the door. But air gets through there anyway, so it's not like there's not ventilation in here. So you got to keep that in mind of what type of shed you're using if you want to use something like this. Northwest Piper, that'll be interesting what he's going to do with his heating situation. He could probably do this, and initially I didn't think he could because he has one of those, I don't want to call it plastic, but it's like a plastic-like material, resin or something like that. I don't know what you would call it, but it's almost the same thing as Redcoat's Renaissance, where a heater like this, you'd have to be really cautious because it's plastic. Probably get an electric heater. You know, one of those I had one of those initially when I came in here. I had an electric heater, space heater that would heat things up. Not bad, but your electric bill goes up, and that technically, essentially, is an electric heater. It's just more decorative, if you will. But Northwest Piper, he put up cedar along the wall, so there's that bit of protection from the plastic. Now, of course, wood can burn, but I think it wouldn't be an issue for him because I feel like this would block a lot of that heat. So I'm curious where he's going to go with his heating situation. So, but if you have a big shed like I do, and it's made out of wood, I would recommend this. Anyway, you have plenty of ventilation and whatnot, and just go with this. I think you'll be happy with this. I thoroughly enjoy this. This is one of the best investments I made. I think it's around, I want to say 100 to 50 bucks, in that range somewhere. And then, of course, you got to get this cable, this hose if you want it. I do recommend that. But, and of course, this is a, a little heater thing that came with this, which isn't working out well. So, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys do for your heating solutions, if you have any, or if you're looking for one. If you have any recommendations other than this, there are others out there. You know, Mr. Buddy's not the only one that makes heaters like this, portable gas heaters. But just be cautious when you do something like this, when you introduce this into your shed with the flame in that. I'm going to turn it on real quick, just so you guys can see what it's like with the pilot. I'll bring you in here. I don't want to melt my camera though, but here we go. You gotta do this. See, right there. There it goes. It catches. So see, it takes a little bit, and then we gotta wait 30 seconds, which can be a pain in the butt. So let's see if we can get it. See, it kind of, there we go. Now we got it. Takes a second, so then you see it. You get the heat. You get the whoa, 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 whoa. And there you go. So I don't want to burn you guys, but that's pretty much it. And of course, you see the flame here, so you got to be cautious. I don't know if you can see all of it, but there's the flame right down there, the little blue flame. You just want to make sure nothing. And of course, this is great there. It kind of blocks a good amount, but if papers or something, like, I have to be cautious when I open up a tin. I throw things, as you've seen, you know, the paper sometimes I throw. I got to be careful when it's that. But this gets very toasty, feels very good. Just be careful too if you put your feet in front of it. It can start steaming the plastic on your boots or whatever, and you really don't want that. But I highly recommend it. So if you're looking for a heating solution and you have the space for it, you have the ability to keep an eye on it. And the other thing I want to mention, there's maybe I'll do it right now. If I knock it over, no, it's not kicking in. It's supposed to. There we go. It kicks in. Now hopefully it works again. I don't know. We'll have to see if that works, because it's reset itself. There we go. This is live. Let's see if it works. There we go. Hey, it worked. Look at that. Usually things like that don't work. But there is a knockover feature which I liked about it. It does shut things off. And I'm going to shut this off here. I don't waste any gas. So there is a safety feature. So if you're worried about things like knocking it over with your feet, that is built in there. But I always say be cautious when you have an open flame or any kind of heat source, you know. I remember initially I was looking at heat sources, and I was going to get one of those, you kind of attach it to the propane heater, and it just, you know, I just felt that was not the safest option for in here. I felt this was a little bit better. It's made for camping, ice fishing, so it's kind of designed for a building like this, like a shed like this. A garage, I don't know if you'll get enough heat from it. You might get enough directional heat with it, which is what it does over here for me. I'm fortunate enough I have the overhang here where it traps the heat in, and things are nice and toasty for me. But again, well, you're going to go out when it's 10 degrees, 5 degrees. You know, some nights out here, I know last year when I was doing videos, It was 10 degrees or whatever, and I came out here and did videos anyway because I wanted to do videos and smoke my pipe or a cigar or whatever it was. And it was cold, but it got me comfortable. You can offset and make it a little bit more comfortable with blankets. I'll get into that another day, but I highly recommend the Mr. Buddy. I'll leave a link for you guys below. Check it out, do your research, and see if this fits your situation. Maybe some of you weren't aware of something like this, and now you are, and I'd say if it's something that could work for you, go with it, because I trust it. Like I said, there's a few caveats. It's a bit finicky at time when you're starting it. It starts better now than it did the past 2 seasons I've had this. As you see, usually when I hit the pilot, it's stiff and it doesn't work, but that seems to be working better. The issue I've had is this getting clogged when I first started for the season, like I did a couple of weeks ago when I took this out here to try this experiment and to make sure that the line's running right and everything's running right, because this can get some buildup in there. Don't panic when that happens. A lot of that has to do with, you turn the gas on, you put the pilot on, you ignite it, and see, we still have some propane in the tube. You got to let that burn out and kind of clear your line. So eventually this will go out. Or it's going to make me a liar, one or the other. But there's no propane going to this. I believe I shut it off. And eventually that will go out. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I did shut it. I did shut the line. But that pilot is burning all the gas that's still in the line, which is quite a bit, when you think about it. So you would just have to do that, clear it out, and I'm going to shut it off anyway. You'd have to clear it out. Do that a few times. You got to cycle through, and then the next time when you go to do it, you turn it back on, but you put a little bit of gas, and then you do it, and you kind of just, almost like flushing the line, if you will. I learned that a few YouTube videos ago because what would happen is I started it, it would run fine, and then it would stop flickering, and it would kick off. And that's why, because this line kind of gets build up in it, and you kind of got to cycle it through and clear it. So that's the important thing. So other than those 2 things being finicky, very reliable, it's got the safety feature. If you knock it over, you don't have to worry too much. You just got to be cautious, like with anything. If you had a candle in here, like I have candles, you just got to be cautious. Know that you have a heat source or a candle or an open flame, and don't mess with it. That's the biggest thing I can say. But anyway, this, again, ignore the fancy fans up here. I'll do a video on that at some point. It's just been a complete miserable failure on my part. There is a hack I could do that I was avoiding, but I'm going to try it for the name of science and for my own curiosity and for the channel. I'm going to do what I have to do to get it to work. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I'm curious what your heat sources are going into the winter. What you're going to use. Are you going to just use blankets? You're going to use an electric heater. You're going to use a electric blanket, which is a good option to have as well. I have a few other things I'm debating on bringing in here and using or experimenting with. I owe it to my friend Bob. He has a YouTube channel as well. And he had a... Well, I'm not going to mention what it is because I think I might buy it next week. I'm still on the fence for it. He knows what I'm talking about. He used it for his boosted board when he'd go out and in the cold months he'd use this. And he's probably laughing right now. But I think it might actually help add to the heat source in here. So I could probably come out here when it's well below 0 if I really wanted to. I don't know. We're going to experiment going forward this winter. This will be a fun experimenting with the heat thing. Now, the interesting thing is when we get into summer, how I'm going to cool things down in here. That's always been a struggle. I have not solved that. I may put an air conditioner in here somehow. If I could get a small one, see that window right over there? If I could get a small air conditioner for there. The only problem is it's going to blow it over there. It's not going to be where I need it. Or I could cut a hole over there. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. Right now we're worried about heat. So anyway, I'm going to end this video. Hope you guys found this useful or gave you some ideas. You can use this as a jump off point and kind of explore that and go from there. I know some of you have smaller sheds like Sam. It's from Sam's Smoking Shed. He's got a small, and I think Dan has a small shed as well. Over in the UK, a lot of the sheds seem to be just like a tool shed, not a big, Cadillac-sized shed like I have here. This might blow you out because it gets pretty warm. But it might be perfect for you guys, actually. Mine's an open space. It gets right to a nice, comfortable level. It's still, you wish it were a little bit warmer, but a small shed, this would probably, it might even blow you out of the shed. You might have a sauna at that point. But anyway, I'm just curious what your thoughts and ideas are going forward. And I'm going to end this video, and I will see you guys next time.